Hey, I'm Courtney Waterman, your tutor. Lover of anime, manga, and math. And you just tuned into another session of Tutor Me Sempai. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're jumping into an 11th grade topic, product to sum identities. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'll be putting time codes in for this video in the description box below, so use it to skip ahead to whatever part of the video you think is most interesting. As always, if you have any questions about these today, or even on homework, you can always put in the comment box below, or visit my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. At the end of the video, I'll be linking my 11th grade playlist in which I cover a lot more topics, so if you're interested in that, make sure you stay tuned. This video is going to have 4 parts, so leave a like, smash subscribe, and let's get started. So today we're going to be covering our product to sum identities. In fact, we're going to be talking about 4 different product to sum identities, and I'll show you a very easy way to derive them so you don't have to memorize them. The only thing you're going to need are going to be your angle sum identities and your angle difference identities. Now, if you have no idea what those are and you haven't seen my previous video on that topic, no worries, you can find it right up here. In this video, I've talked about not only the identities, but I showed you a nice, easy way to derive them. However, for this video, I'll be putting them right up here as a reference. So like I just said, there are going to be 4 product to sum identities, 2 sine ones and 2 cosine ones. And in order to derive our 2 sine ones, we're going to be focusing just on the sine, angle sum, and angle difference identities. So let's jump into finding our very first one here. Since we only need our sine identities for sine, I'm going to remove the cosine ones for now, just to give me a little bit more space to work with. Okay, now that we've rewritten both of these in this fashion, the first thing we want to do is combine them. We're going to combine them in order to get all of our product to sum identities. However, to get our first sine one, we're going to add it. We're going to add these. So we have to add these. We're going to start on this side first because it's going to be easier. We're going to collapse some things, give us a little bit more space to work with. So we're going to start with this side. So we want to add these, focusing on the right side first. And when we do that, we notice that this, if we're adding down, these cancel out. That gives us nothing because they have opposite signs. Cosine x, sine y, cosine x, sine y, opposite signs, they go away. But when we add this, we have sine x, cosine y, and sine x, cosine y. Now we have 2 of them. So we're going to have a 2 sine x cosine y. And that's going to equal whatever we get on the left side. And we're going to just simply rewrite both of these. We have a sine x plus y plus sine x minus y. Now we can't stop here. We need a product to sum identity. This is not quite it because our product has a little bit more going on. So let's divide both sides by 2 and then swap the sides so we can have our product on the left side. So by doing that, we're going to get this. Sine x cosine y equals 1/2 times sine x plus y plus sine x minus y. This is going to be our first sine product to sum identity. Here we have a product and here we have a sum. And the only thing we needed to do was add our angle sum and angle difference identities for sine. In order to find our second sine product to sum identity, we're going to subtract them instead. So let's jump straight into that now. So for our second sine product to sum identity, we're going to subtract these 2 identities. Now I don't want you to get confused. Now that we're subtracting, let's swap all the signs so that we have an easier time understanding what we're really doing. We're subtracting everything, so we're going to flip the sign of everything and then combine them. And in doing so, we see that now these are going to cancel out because they were the same, but now we have an opposite sign. And these are going to have the 2 attached to it because now they both have the same sign. So now we have a 2 cosine x sine y. And on the left side, we have a sine x plus y minus sine x minus y. So let's do the same exact thing. Let's get this by itself, divide both sides by 2, and then write this portion on the left. We're going to swap sides. So in doing that, we get this. Cosine x times sine y equals 1/2 times sine x plus y minus sine x minus y. We have a product and we have a sum. Now technically there's a difference, but we know that sums and differences are pretty much the same thing. So this is our second product to sum identity for sine. And the only thing we have to do for this one is subtract the two identities. Now that you've seen the pattern, you know exactly what we're going to do for our two cosine product to sum identities. Except instead of working with these, we're going to work with the cosines. So let's jump straight into our first one. So now we're finding our first cosine product to sum identity, and we want to add these right off the bat. And we're going to focus on the right side just like we did on our previous examples. And when we do that, we notice that this sine x sine y is going to cancel out because they're the same, which leaves us with a 2 cosine x cosine y. And on our left side, we have a cosine x plus y plus cosine x minus y. Once again, let's get this by itself and swap sides, which gives us the following. We have cosine x times cosine y equals 1/2 times cosine of x plus y plus cosine of x minus y. This is going to be our very first product to sum identity for cosine. And just like the others, all we did was add our two angle sum and angle difference identities for cosine. To find our final one, all we need to do is subtract the two instead of adding them. So let's jump straight into that. So now we want to subtract these two identities. Now in order to subtract them, let's swap all the signs for the bottom row. So this equals a negative here, and this is going to be a negative here. So we want to swap all the signs so we don't get confused. Now, when we do that, we get what? Notice that this cancels out now, right? We're going to subtract them. This cancels out, and we're left with a negative 2 sine x sine y. This is going to be on the right side, and our left side has a cosine x plus y minus a cosine x minus y. Now this is going to be a little different because we have a negative 2 here, and if we want this to feel like our other identities, the first thing we want to do is realize that that negative is going to throw things off a little bit. So we still want to get this by itself. We still want to divide this by a negative 2, but we're going to, instead of having the negative 2 just kind of hanging out there, we're going to distribute the negative at the same time. So we're going to get this by itself, swap it over, and distribute that negative. Right, so we're going to get the following. We have sine x times sine y equals 1/2. Notice there's a positive 1/2 here, times cosine of x minus y minus cosine of x plus y. We have distributed the negative. See, we've swapped the signs, right? By distributing the negative, we swap the signs. So make sure you picked up on that. Don't miss that. This is not necessarily the same exact thing that we've been writing because we have to distribute that negative. But we don't have this negative hanging out with this 1/2. We just distribute the negative and swap the signs of what's inside the parentheses. This is going to be our second cosine product to sum identities. Now, this doesn't have any cosines in it, so why am I calling it cosine? Well, that's because we started with cosine and we have a bunch of cosines here. So I'm calling that product to sum identity for your cosines. So I hope you were able to follow along with today's video, and I hope you now know how you can derive your product to sum identities using your angle sum and angle difference identities. But if you have any questions about what you saw today, or even your own homework, remember you can put it in the comment box below, or visit my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. If you hadn't done so already, remember to leave that like. It surely helps the channel by letting YouTube know that you found the video helpful. And if you found the video helpful, so can someone else. So leave a like, hit the notification bell, smash the subscribe button, and share the video with a friend. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'm really hoping to help with your homework. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week. I'm Courtney, this is your playlist, and this has been another session of Tutor Me Sempai.